Ever feel like you're doing all the right things and still wondering why your body feels off? You eat well, you train hard, your labs say you're fine, but deep down you know something's slipping. You're not alone and you're not crazy. I'm Daniel Rasmussen, founder of Echelon Center for Longevity, and I've spent 2 decades helping high performers like you to reverse aging, reignite vitality, and finally get answers. On Unbreakable Vitality, we go upstream. We talk peptides, stem cells, precision diagnostic testing, reversing the age of your arteries, all the innovative science-based tools to take back your health span so that your next decades are your best yet. Because aging is real, but decline is optional.
What actually shifts your biological age? And what's just glorified wellness theater? Yeah, that's a really good question to ask. There's a spoiler alert here. Your TruAge score doesn't care how cute your collagen peptides are if your mitochondria are crying out in suffocation. Biological age testing is one of the hottest tools in the longevity space, but most people don't understand what it's actually measuring, how to change it, or what to ignore. In this episode, we break down the truth about TruAge and other epigenetic tests, explain how they guide clinical protocols, and reveal what actually moves your age score in the right direction. You may be 52 on paper, but your cells might think you're 64 or 39. And yes, that does matter. You may be 52 on paper, but your cells might think you're 64 or 39 or tired raccoon, depending on how last week went. Welcome to the age of biological age testing, where your DNA snitches on your lifestyle. And unlike your doctor, it doesn't accept "I'm doing my best" as a valid excuse. In this episode of Unbreakable Vitality, we are decoding the truth behind epigenetic testing, especially the TruAge test, which is what we use here at the Echelon Center for Longevity. We're going to break down what that really measures and what actually moves the needle, and what to ignore in the sea of the biohacking noise, because there's a lot out there. So, knowing your biological age isn't about bragging at dinner parties. It's about understanding what systems are aging fastest and how to reverse them with strategy rather than guesswork. So if you've ever wondered why you feel a lot older than you are or younger than you actually are, well, either way, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. What is biological age really? So we got to start at the basics. The reason why is because this is where most people get it wrong. Your chronological age is how many birthdays you've had, how many years or cycles around our sun that you've gone. Your biological age is how fast your body is actually aging at that cellular level, which could be aging faster than how many times you've been around the sun, or it could be aging slower than how many times you've been around the sun. And let me tell you, your cells don't care what your driver's license says. So they're looking at your habits, your environment, how you handle stress, and what you fed them for breakfast. So biological age is measured through epigenetics, the way your genes are expressed based on lifestyle and environmental influences. So one of the key mechanisms here is DNA methylation and the addition of a methyl group to DNA molecules. So methylation is essential for gene expression, cell repair, detoxification, and immune function. But with the age and stress, these patterns start to change, and those changes can be measured. So enter the TruAge test. It's a test that uses blood analysis to determine your current biological age based on these methylation markers all across your genome. Think of it like a molecular fingerprint that tells us how well or poorly your body is aging. Then what does it really measure? Cellular stress and repair capacity, inflammation and immune signaling, oxidative damage, and detox burden. The wear and tear of lifestyle on your genetics expression. So think of it like maybe space rocket or one of SpaceX's ships coming back through the atmosphere and getting a lot of friction and building up heat. And the more heat and friction you have on your DNA and your epigenetics, the more they're going to deteriorate. And so the wear and tear of the lifestyle on your genetics expression, it's not a crystal ball, but it's very highly predictive, and it's a map of your health trajectory. So, but here's the catch. Your biological age isn't static. It's not fixed. It can change, and it does, and sometimes dramatically. With the right interventions, we've seen things get very exciting. Here at our clinic in Seattle, the Echelon Center for Longevity, we've seen patients reverse their TruAge score by 5, 8, and I think we even had one patient to reverse their biological age score by 15 years over a period of time. Usually it's around at the most a year after we start working with somebody. But this didn't just happen. It's not by accident. It's very strategic. And here's the thing. You don't need a PhD in molecular biology to understand this. So you just really need to know that your biology is listening to your behavior every single day, 24/7. So if you're living in chronic stress, which is now studies show chronic stress is the number one cause of accelerated aging, more so than eating a poor diet, although diet comes into it. If you stack that with eating ultra processed food, seed oils, skipping sleep, staying up late, pretending your supplement stack is going to save you, your methylation clock will tell the truth. I'm going to show you why not all biological age tests are created equal and how to avoid wasting money on the wrong ones. So we've got biological versus chronological age, why methylation matters, and then now as a summary, what these tests actually measure, whether it's epigenetics, gene expression patterns, etc. So now the TruAge test versus other tests, which one do we trust? So biological age testing has exploded in popularity recently, and with it, a swarm of tests all claiming to tell you how old your body really is. But here's the problem. Not all of them are looking at the same thing, and not all of them are clinically useful. We're going to compare a few of the big names out there. TruAge by TruDiagnostic. That's the first one. This is the test we use most often here at the Echelon Center, and it's for good reason. It does measure the DNA methylation via blood analysis, and it uses highly validated epigenetic markers to estimate biological age. The reports include immune age, pace of aging, and risk scores linked to inflammation and disease. It gives actionability, changes over time. It's not just a static number. It gives us a direction for targeted intervention. It's really a nice test. I love it. Then we've got Tuned In Pace. So developed from a 45-year longitudinal study, this test measures your current rate of aging, i.e. how fast you're aging right now. But it doesn't necessarily tell you how old your body is currently, but rather just how fast you're progressing. It's great for really early detection and for spotting, those accelerated agers, people who are just really aging quickly, but it's less intuitive for patients to understand. Then we've got glycan age, which measures biological age based on glycosylation patterns in IgG antibodies, which is your immune health. It's very interesting insights, but it's a very, very much a narrower focus. It doesn't measure methylation nor offer broad lifestyle guidance. So what's the issue with all these tests? Some are too narrow, great data, but not enough context. Some are poorly validated or inconsistent in their lab processing. So that's not good. Some are gamified for the biohacker crowd, without clinical application. And that gives where we come in at Echelon. We choose the TruAge because it strikes the right balance, clinically rigorous, actionable, and repeatable. And we run it at baseline, and then every 6 months or 12 months, depending on how long we're working in a program and how long the protocol is. But if we're working on vascular age, detox burden, hormone recalibration, we really prefer to use the TruAge to confirm those results. If the age drops by 3 to 7 years, that's more than a win. Let me tell you, that's proof that what we're doing isn't just working, it's reversing the clock. And the longer you're on that protocol, the better it will work. So don't get caught up in test hopping, if I can just there's a warning here. Pick one solid, well-validated test, and ideally that methylation test, and then stick with it. Watch the trends over time. Be consistent. Compare the baseline to those follow-ups. I really want to show you what actually moves that needle too, because it's not just that $200 peptide cream or that anti-aging, latte that you saw on Instagram. Compare top biological age tests, their pros and cons, and what you get and what's noise. We're going to help you sift through this. So what actually shifts your biological age and what's just glorified wellness theater? Yeah, that's a really good question to ask. There's a spoiler alert here, though. Your TruAge score doesn't care how cute your collagen peptides are if your mitochondria are crying out in suffocation. So here's what we see consistently move the needle in our patients here at the Echelon Center. Number one, sleep, the unglamorous secret weapon. Deep, high quality, consistent sleep regulates hormones, it lowers inflammation, and it supports DNA repair. If you're skipping sleep to hustle harder, if you've got a night shift job, I've got a client who was a former pilot. So he was flying all over the place at all different times, and so his circadian rhythm was just in shambles. He did this for decades, and it's taken 10 years for him to finally kind of settle into what he calls retirement comfort, but he's still not sleeping great because his whole circadian rhythm was so disrupted, and it caused him to age. He's already had open heart surgery. He's had prostate cancer. These are the things that crop up when you think it just happens to you, but there's reasons for it. There's a reason why these things are happening, and you have to look at your lifestyle. And if your job is killing you, you have to really question, is it worth it? But sleep, if you're, just know that your methylation clock is whispering all the time. So don't skip out on good sleep. Blood sugar stability, number two. Insulin resistance is one of the fastest accelerators of biological age, and stabilizing that glucose that we talked about 2 episodes ago through movement, food timing, muscle mass. It isn't just about, doing it to stay fit. It's about preserving cellular function. Next is inflammation and your detox pathways. So chronic inflammation and toxic burden on your body show up on your TruAge score. That's why we support repairing the drainage and the detoxification before we go real aggressive with any anti-aging strategy. We test for homocysteine, C-reactive protein, methylation markers, all those other markers that we discussed in episode 14. That guides our plan. That guides our treatment protocol, the design, the architecture. Number 4 is having targeted, customized nutrients and those methyl donors that we so desperately require. Your methylation engine runs on nutrients like methylfolate, B12, methionine. It runs on thiamine, all the B vitamins, actually, magnesium, zinc, and choline, but it has to be personalized. You don't want to just go out and start taking a bunch of these compounds because not everyone benefits from the same methylation support. That's where the testing matters. Number 5 is going to be hormones and peptides. So, when they're timed correctly, we see massive improvements in TruAge scores. And when we pair hormone optimization, cortisol balance, insulin resistance, resensitizing, we've got regenerative peptides that we love to combine at this point, like epigenetics or MUTS-C, CGIC, 1295, ipamorelin, tesamorelin. Tesamorelin is one of my favorites. Now, only when the foundation is, optimized, sleep, blood sugar, inflammation, infections, when all that's dialed in first. One client came in, her biological age is 12 years older than her chronological age. And after 6 months of a full comprehensive protocol, drainage, hormone balance, sleep coaching, strategic peptides, her biological age dropped by 9 years. And no, we didn't put her on celery juice and prayers. What doesn't work? Jumping into every new flashy protocol without sequencing. So over supplementing without data. I had one client come in and he had 2 pages listing out all the supplements that he was taking. If you do supplement overload, you can start having polysupplement syndrome, where you're overburdening your body with all these compounds, leading to one new shiny supplement. Each new supplement is going to be the magic bullet. This is going to be the one. So be really careful with that. Then next, biohacking burnout from trying to do 14 different interventions all at once. When it comes down to the bottom line, age reversal, there's no magic to it. It's a systematic method. It's strategic. And I want to show you how we take our test results and actually build a plan that works. So you're not just collecting data, but you're turning it into real direction for your health that you can see. Sleep, blood sugar, inflammation, methyl donors, detox status, all of that we just talked about, very important. Let's move into using your results to personalize your longevity plan. Let's say your TruAge test comes back and it says you're 59 biologically, but you're only 47 chronologically. You could panic, or you could get curious and strategic, because here's the truth. That score is not a verdict. Remember, it's a diagnostic mirror. It's just showing you a reflection of what you've been doing and where you're currently at. It shows us which systems are aging faster and where to direct our intervention. Do we need cardiac support? Do we need vascular support? So at the Echelon Center, we don't use TruAge diagnostic test just to say, cool, you're older than you think. We use it in a practical way to personalize everything. When we see elevated biological age, we zoom out and ask, where is the inflammation showing up? Is detox impaired? What's your vascular age doing? Are your hormones misfiring? Then we pair all of that with functional blood work, hormone panels, gut testing, cortisol curves, and then lifestyle patterns. And that becomes your biological blueprint. One of our clients came to us with a biological age that was 11 years older than his calendar age. He was a business owner. He was very stressed out, barely sleeping, and surviving on, like coffee and keto bars. Instead of throwing supplements at him, we did what most anti-aging clinics totally skip over. We started with getting his drainage systems working again and getting his GI function back. Then we started working on resetting his sleep and cortisol rhythm. It's so important. If you can't sleep, you're never going to recover. We used peptide therapy after all of his foundational issues were stabilized and to some degree optimized. We introduced resistance training and glucose monitoring to help get him trained on how to manage these things on his own. 9 months later, his TruAge dropped by 8.5 years. It was a huge transformation. The secret wasn't one shiny intervention, one magic bullet. It was sequencing, personalization, and consistency. So now let's flip this. What if your TruAge comes back younger than your actual age? Well, first off, congrats. But second, don't let it become a hall pass to stop optimizing. Don't let that be your excuse to go off and live an unhealthy lifestyle because you can get away with it. We've seen people go from winning on paper to plateauing because they start chasing the score instead of the systems. And that's not good either. So that's why we don't obsess over the number. We just use it as a map. If it says your detox age is high, we focus there. If your immune age is elevated, we dig into gut health, viruses, infections, or mold. The point is this: it isn't to manipulate the number, it's to change the biological reality that it's reflecting. So, that's the difference between biohacking for clicks and longevity for legacy. And that brings me to the next segue where we all take all this data and we help our patients become the younger version of themselves, not just on paper, but in how they move and think and they live. So what to do with a bad score? And hint, it's a map, not a sentence. So how we use the TruAge in our multi-system blueprint, avoiding the biohacker trap of obsessing just over the number. Let's bring it on home. So you've got your TruAge results. Maybe you're ahead of the curve. Maybe you're trailing a little bit behind. Either way, This is where the magic in the method comes in. At the Echelon Center, we don't just hand you a report and say, well, good luck. We build strategy that aligns with your lifestyle, your lab data, and your long-term goals. Here's where most people go wrong. They treat symptoms instead of systems. If your TruAge shows signs of inflammation, that's a systems issue, not a turmeric deficiency. Can't tell you how many times they're like, oh, I'm taking turmeric. Why am I inflamed? How about the pizza you ate last night and the ice cream every night before bed and the junk food for lunch? Now, turmeric isn't going to undo any of that. If your detoxification markers are off, that's a drainage issue or issue with methylation, micronutrients. If your anion gap is off, it's not a one-day juice cleanse. So we use the TruAge to prioritize our sequencing. And we start with the roots: sleep, drainage, gut health, inflammation. Then we layer in advanced tools like the peptides, hormone support, mitochondrial activators, personalized exercise protocols, fitness optimization. It's a lifestyle architecture built around your methylation, your biology, and your biomarkers in your blood, in your resilience zones, and all of that. It's just as importantly, we help you shift your identity, because being biologically younger isn't about doing 1,000 things right. It's about just becoming the kind of person who makes longevity decisions every single day that you're alive. So you don't need to be perfect. You just need a path and consistency. I'm going to say that over and over. No perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. You're never going to get it done, and you're never going to get it right. And what that means, a mentor of mine used to say, let go of being a perfectionist. You're just going to stress yourself out unduly. Life comes at us at a never-ending pace. So you're never going to get it done. You finish one thing and another one's going to come. So just enjoy the process. Find joy in the everyday simple things, and don't try to shoot for perfection, because you're going to then never get it perfect and you're going to stress yourself out. Some people say, well, that's lowering my standards. No, it's not. Your health is benefiting from it. You're doing the best you can. Shoot high, keep your standards high, shoot for excellence, but let go of this perfectionist idea. It's a false premise. You want to create a life that reflects a younger, more resilient you, and not just on paper, but in how you think and you feel, how you move, and how you show up in your life every day with your family, your spouse, your career, your job, your community. On our next episode of Unbreakable Vitality, we're diving into stem cells, regenerative medicine, exosomes, and all the breakthroughs that's reshaping what's possible. We're going to discuss what the hype is. In age reversal, we're going to look at sequencing matters. We don't want to treat the symptoms. We want to treat the systems through lifestyle architecture aligned with the TruAge levers to leverage these things. This is exciting times to be alive, because we are, in many of our lifetimes, we'll be able to extend our lives up to 120, 130, 150 in some cases years old, with abundance of health, without chronic disease, without debilitation. It's happening, people. It's here. So longevity, identity. That's what I was going to say. It's not just what you do, it's who you become. If you've ever wondered how old your body actually feels on the inside, your arteries might be already whispering the answer. Maybe not, but take that vascular age quiz at echelon-longevity.com/quiz and discover how fast or how well you're truly aging from that little survey. You can get an idea. Then from there, where your next decade is headed if you don't course correct. Because knowing your real age isn't about bragging rights. It's about buying back time. It's about getting quality of the years that you're living. So like I said, on the next episode, we're going to enter the cutting edge world of regenerative medicine. We're going to talk deep level and not the hype that you've seen on some wellness reels. We're going to unpack how these regenerative therapies are already reshaping results here at our Echelon Center, how our GPF method has gotten people pain-free for the first time in many years, helped them avoid surgical procedures like a knee replacement or a shoulder replacement. It's absolute mind-boggling. And we're also going to look at what the science says on this and how we combine them with our peptide stacks, mitochondrial support, longevity diagnostics to unlock powerful age reversal protocols. You'll learn what's working, what's still experimental, and how to approach this future-facing field with both curiosity and clarity, being informed to make better decisions about your health. It's going to be one of the most future-forward, but at the same time grounded episodes yet. I'm excited. We'll see you there.
If you're feeling like your energy, your edge, or your clarity just isn't what it used to be, you're not alone. But you're also not stuck. Every week on Unbreakable Vitality, we explore real strategies to reverse aging, reclaim vitality, and rewrite what's possible. If today's episode gave you even one insight, pass it on. Then go take the free vascular age quiz at echelon-longevity.com/quiz to see how your body's aging. Subscribe, leave a review, and follow us because your future isn't on autopilot. You are building it and you're just getting started.